Now, welcome to another edition of Battle of the Heroes and Villains, where this time we'll be taking a look at the results of the poll for C-3PO. We'll then compare those results to all the other characters we've done thus far to see where he ranks, before I then read and respond to some of your comments. But before all that, you can of course already nominate and or vote for which character we do next by heading down and responding to my pinned comment below with a character name, or vote with a thumbs up if the one you'd like to see is already listed. Whatever comment gets the most votes in the next 24 hours or so will be the winner and the character we do next. For now though, let's get to the results for C-3PO, where we'll see that 35% of people gave him an A, 43% then thought he was a B tier character, 15% said C, which left 3% to give him a D, and a final 3% to give him an F. And so when we do all the math here and consider A a score of 5 and F a score of 1, C-3PO ends up with an average score of 4.04, which actually puts him into a tie for 20th place with Cad Bane. So in order to break the tie, this is the second one we've had so far, I decided that whichever character got more A votes would be placed ahead, which in this case is 3PO. However, when I went back to try and use that same method to break the tie between Han Solo and Qui-Gon Jinn, our other tie at 4.53, it turned out not only did they get the same percentage of A's, but they got the same percentage of every grade. So, fair or not, I decided that whichever one had the most overall votes would likely be the more popular of the two characters, and I'd give them the edge, which in this case was Han with more overall votes than Qui-Gon Jinn. But anyway, here, enough of all that. Let's get to some of your comments about 3PO, but not before quickly once again saying thank you to everyone who does vote, comment, and watches the videos. It's all greatly appreciated. Okay, so let's get started, as we always do, with the top-rated comment, which this time came to us from Trap Thompson, who said, "He's how annoying characters should be written. Other characters acknowledge him as annoying, but also recognize his help. My favorite C-3PO moment was when Han shut him off in the asteroid field." And I do pretty much agree. I think the charm of 3PO is that he is very well-meaning, but at the same time, especially to the other characters, and to some fans if we're being honest, he can be so very annoying. He can be that nervous nag that everyone grows tired of very quickly. And there is no better place that this gets highlighted than in The Empire Strikes Back, where each and every interaction between him and Han is just pure comedic gold, no pun intended. Which kind of brings us to this comment from the Senate, who said, "Without C-3PO, we wouldn't have gotten some iconic lines from Han Solo and others, lines that really bring out their own character and let us get to know them better." And I mean, there's a ton of great things to say or superlatives to be used when it comes to The Empire Strikes Back, especially when it comes to character interactions and development. But one of the best pairings in that movie actually has to be Han and 3PO. They play off each other so well. And for me, it's that movie that really makes 3PO and kind of sets the tone for him or his personality for every other movie to come that'll be in, and not so much A New Hope, where he's almost maybe too much of an ass towards R2 at times, or at least is till the very end of the movie, where there's obviously concern shown for R2 after Luke reports that I've lost R2, and 3PO looks around and sees that no one else even cares or flinches. And for me, that's probably my favorite 3PO moment of all time, though again, any of the interactions between him and Han in Empire could just as easily be my favorite as well. Alright, and next up here we have this comment from Jacob Zakin, who said, "Hilarious and relatable side character, a great foil to R2-D2. We also have this one from Project Cambrian, who said, "B+. He's such a beloved character that I'm finding words insufficient to describe him. The best I've got is that 3PO is the Abbott to R2's Costello. For fans, they were the guides of the original trilogy, the unsung heroes of the prequels, and in the sequels, they both were long-lost old friends returned to us at last. 3PO and his constant badgering, worrywart state is endearing as the gruff demeanor belies the heart of gold of a caring droid and why he and R2 work so well together." Then there's this one from the Flash B, who said, "You can't have R2-D2's great moments without him there to add comic relief." And then this one from the Wookiee Jedi, who said, "He's one half of a pair of Star Wars characters that helped to shape the journey of the entire franchise. Easy A." And I mean, it all started with these two characters. They are the ultimate Star Wars duo. You simply don't have one without the other. They just complete each other and play off each other so well every time they're on screen together. It's yet another one of those things in Star Wars that, at least at face value, seems odd and crazy, but ends up working so well and so beautifully, and is one of the many reasons why we still talk about these films today, and will for years and years to come yet. And as Fry's guys pointed out in their comment, the first words ever spoken in a Star Wars movie comes from C-3PO, which is so very fitting considering the original idea Lucas had was for this story to be seen through their eyes, through the eyes of the droids. It may be Luke's hero's journey, but we're meant to experience it from their perspective. Lucas even once said that the story of Star Wars is taken from R2-D2 and written down in the Journal of the Wills. So you could say we're even getting his version of the story, which is maybe why R2 always seems to be the hero, and 3PO, well, isn't so much. Okay, and moving on here, we have this comment now from Zach Haskell, who said, C-3PO, the only character that's consistent across all three trilogies. Then there's this one from Thanos, who said he's not the most interesting character, but Star Wars wouldn't be Star Wars without him. And also this one from Lorenzo Williams, who said, C-3PO gets an A from me. I think you could argue that he's the most consistent character in Star Wars. He didn't really change throughout the trilogies. He was written so very well too. I can't think of a reason why I shouldn't give him an A. And I do agree, again, outside of 3PO maybe being just a bit more of a dick in A New Hope than he was in any of the other movies, he and R2-D2 are the most consistent characters throughout. They are the reliable constant throughout the whole saga, and I think it's one of the reasons why they're such fan favorites. And though sure, when separated and taken out of the context of the story, there's maybe not a whole lot there. Together and within it though, there are arguably no characters that have seen or gone through more than they have. Again, there's a reason why the Wills went to R2 for the story of Star Wars. Alright, and next up here then we have this comment from Gemma McLean-Mayer, who said, one of the only characters who is completely consistent thanks to always being played by Anthony Daniels. He may not be the most exciting character, but it's always comforting to see him on screen. Then this one from Omega24, who said, it's ironic. C-3PO is a golden android built by a slave kid on a desert planet and was involved in 3 separate wars, yet he is one of the most human and normal characters in Star Wars. He is thrown into unbelievable adventures with all kinds of aliens and mystical warriors, and he sees the absurdity in it all. He is constantly pointing out the ridiculousness in R2's brave endeavors, and is scared and worried in times of danger, just like we all would be. In a way, 3PO serves as the audience in the universe, and it's all thanks to an unforgettable performance by Anthony Daniels. Also here we have this comment from Those Clips You've Been Looking For, who said, love and hate C-3PO, Anthony Daniels truly put his passion into a great stable of the franchise. A grade for sure. Then there's this comment from Arc5973, who said, I say a B. He served the exact purpose that was meant for him in the films, a source of comedic relief, yet still having a role in the plot. Anthony Daniels' performance was always great throughout the entire saga, and his connection to the character has made 3PO extremely memorable. He's an exceptional character, filling the exact role he was meant for. And we were talking about consistency before, and obviously it doesn't get any more consistent than Anthony Daniels, who was in all 9 of the saga films, as well as Rogue One, and he voiced him in Clone Wars, Rebels, some of the Lego shorts, and elsewhere. He is one of the true legends of Star Wars. Okay, and moving on then, we have this comment from Dylan Gilmore, who said, he's the best part of the Rise of Skywalker. His scenes are the only things that make me chuckle during that movie. And no offense to 3PO, but I wish he wasn't one of my favorite parts of the Rise of Skywalker and one of the standout parts. Not that he didn't deserve his moment to shine, no pun intended again. But you'd think and hope that there would be so many other great moments in that last movie of the trilogy that you'd maybe almost forget to mention how extremely well he was handled. And yes, I saw a few other people pointing out that it was odd that he somehow knew a Sith language but wasn't allowed to translate it, that the whole thing with the memory wipe was cheap because he just gets it back at the end anyway. And yes, that moment where he says he's taking one last look at his friends didn't have anywhere near the emotional impact or weight it would have if he was talking about characters from the previous trilogy, but still, none of that took away from just how on point they were with 3PO in The Rise of Skywalker. Alright, and next up here we have this comment from James M, who said, he's not a bad character, but he's just not A tier. Honestly wish he wasn't created by Anakin. Then there's this one from Matthew Wright, who said, I have always been annoyed by C-3PO. He helps move the story along but never added much in the same way R2-D2 did. I guess translating when needed was important, so C for me. Then also this one from Ryan Conlon, who said, I found him annoying and a coward. He could be funny, but he also just made me cringe. I also think that R2-D2 is more interesting. I also think that C-3PO shouldn't have been made by Anakin, as they don't spend much time together. R2-D2 should have been made by Anakin to give them a much closer bond. And I mean, I certainly get why some people aren't the biggest fans of C-3PO, which is fine, and I do agree that it's a bit odd that he was created by Anakin, and that he was created to help his mom. I'm not sure why she needed a protocol droid, but whatever. And though I'd never thought about it before, but it maybe would have made more sense if Anakin had actually created R2 or maybe saved him from a junk pile, especially considering how close those two would end up being. That then means, of course, 3PO would have been a protocol droid for Queen Amidala, basically flipping their roles in the opening movie of the saga, though you'd then have to change that scene where they get past the blockade in the Phantom Menace. I really don't think 3PO would have been out there saving the ship. Okay, and now let's get to just a few final comments before wrapping this up, starting with this one from Aiden Bellinger, who said, "Who else is supposed to translate and tell you the odds of doing something all day long?" Then this one from Darius Bethia, who said, "I was shocked how little we saw of him in the sequels, especially whenever those three main characters died. Luke, Han, and Leia died, and it would have been interesting to see how a droid expressed grief." We also had this one from Michelle Pessoa, who said, "I give him an A. I would buy him from a Jawa." Then also this one from Nathan Wharton, who said, "Quite possibly my favorite Star Wars character. He's just always spoken to me. He's really funny, and he's been around for everything. He's also really relatable. He just wants to do what he can, but in most situations he can't do much. He's also super pessimistic and sarcastic, which I can relate to on a very deep level. I love him, and I will defend him until the day I die." Next up then we have this one from only one Star Wars fan, who said, "A. It honestly baffles me that people find him annoying. He's comic relief with context." And finally here we have this comment from JC King, who said, "He's a dope, a fool, a droid who bumbles along trying to play his humble role. The kind of person who really doesn't want to be there, but always gets dragged into messes. But he does help where he can. He's loyal to his friends, and he and R2-D2 are a perfect foil for each other, a classic comedy duo. Can he be a tad exasperating at times? Yes, but he's always there to do his best. Maybe not an A tier, but less than a B would be a crying shame." Very well said, and I think you summed up 3PO pretty dang well and most people's feelings about him. Sure, for some, he's their favorite droid or character, which is awesome, but for others, they just find him annoying. But it can't be denied that Star Wars would not be Star Wars without him. Well, that's all I've got for this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you think of C-3PO, or what I or anyone else had to say about him here in this video. You can also feel free to nominate or vote for which character we do next. Either way, do leave a comment below, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.